Last class, we learned about organizing success. So the different types of process. First, we started with what are the different kinds of organization structures. It is all based on the size. The size is small, then we call it as entrepreneurial structure. As the size keeps increasing, the different types of organizational structures are functional, where activities of similar nature are grouped together, calling it as functions, and then it's called as functional structure. Then, if it further increases, we call that to be as a divisional structure, where the organization is divided into departments and divisions, and then each department will have a manager appointed who is delegated with authority, and the decisions taken by the manager are uh, with respect to that particular department. So it is decentralized form of organization. Then if the organization, if it further increases, which is a combination of both functional and divisional structure, where they are present in different geographical regions and also across different products in the product line. So then it is called as a matrix structure. Then we've understood about what is Mintzberg's building blocks model. Then he took um, different building blocks and arranged them in the shape of a pyramid, and then explained about what are the different building blocks at each level of management. Then after Mintzberg's building blocks model, then we have understood about what are multinational and global structures, depending on two variables, whether global coordination is required, and the other variable being local independence and responsiveness, to that extent whether it is low, high. And it was decided about what type of organization structure would it be. That is, it could be international divisions or global subsidiaries, global product companies, and multinational companies. After that, we have understood about when there are no boundaries as such. So when they are open to take up anything, then we have understood about vertical boundaries, horizontal boundaries. See, the vertical boundaries, when they extend into um, taking up the in the supply chain management, taking up any business and then working together. Horizontal in the same level, and in encouraging or involving others into the work, and then allowing them to become a part of the business. Types of structures, we've learned about hollow, modular, and virtual. Okay, then strategic choices that are there for boundaryless organizations. Either they can think of outsourcing the work to an external entity or the supplier, or internal also they can outsource it with a shared service center, or join hands with others, called as business partnering. Business processes also we've learned. See, the way the activities are carried out, the business processes, in right from the time when things are taken up for research, development, designing, etc. Then, in context of business processes, we've also understood that if there is a requirement to redo the entire work, the entire re-engineering would be taken up, which we have also learned about business process re-engineering. Then, organizing processes, the concept is explained by Harman in a matrix format, where he talks about if there are two variables, if the activity has strategic importance, or the second variable is, it's about the complexity, whether it is high low. Strategic importance also high low. So he talks about different types of strategies that can be used in terms of dealing with the business processes. If importance is low, complexity is low, it is minimum efforts are required. Importance is low, but complexity is high. So instead of putting all their resources, efforts, time, etc., to take up the activity, it is thought about outsourcing, so that they can save their resources for certain other things, resources, time, etc. So that is outsource it to with others. Then if the strategic importance is on the higher side, if the complexity is low, then it should be automated, because activities which are of similar nature can be assigned to machines, so that machines do the work much better than faster than the human beings. Then if the strategic importance is on the higher side, complexity is also on the higher side, then in that case the strategy that has to be adopted is improve. So continuous improvement is what is required there. Then we see Harman's process strategy matrix. So according to Harman, BPR should be focused. BPR is business process reengineering. See, in spite of bringing about many changes, see, there's a lot of improvement brought about also. Sometimes it is not sufficient, because in the external environment things are changing at a different level. So therefore, there is a need at that point of time to re-engineer the entire process, and then maybe start from the scratch. So that's the concept of business process re-engineering. It looks like it is heavy investment, high investment goes into the business process, that is re-engineering. But the advantage of that is, in spite of investing huge amounts also, the benefit will be derived much faster, because the output produced is on a large, higher speed, higher volume, and then large volume can be produced very easily. As the production increases, it becomes cost effective. Therefore, on that note, this can be looked at as an advantage. Of course, there are certain disadvantages and limitations also, which talks about PPR. And though there are many advantages, that is, it becomes cost effective. I mean, efficiency can be achieved very easily. Things would be done much. See, the organization objective to achieve that becomes much simple and easier. But in spite of that, there are certain limitations also, which are about, of course, initially high investment is required. That's one aspect of it. Then we see that the focus of everybody in the organization then shifts towards how the regenerating happens in an organization. See, in fact, actually, there are many areas they should be focusing about. It's just not the internally some changes which are brought about. See, some from scratch. See, even if it is the BPR, if it is brought about only in one division, also everybody's focus, because it's something re-engineered, so everybody's focus will shift towards BPR in the organization. Maybe even if they are doing it phase wise also across the organization in one go, implementing BPR is would be quite radical. But then, so generally it is implemented phase wise, or stages wise it would be implemented. So in such situations also, everybody's focus now will be shifted towards how BPR is implemented in the organization, whereas there are multiple other things which have to be noted down about what are the things going on in the external environment, competitive strategies, see the changes in the economy, etc. Those things also have to be focused on. The competition, how to face them, that those things have to be focused on. So here that would be counted as a limitation of BPR. Okay, but because it is the need of the hour that they do implement that, BPR is always advisable to take it up. Okay, it has of high strategic importance, likely to be complex and dynamic. These are normally the processes that provide competitive advantage and overall company success. Okay, so there are 5 steps in BPR, business process engineer. First one is create a project plan, have a plan in place, analyze the existing process for problems, then find out a solution for those problems, develop resources to provide these solutions, and then implement and test the new process. Then what could be typical process problems? See, when unnecessary non-value added activities are there, those can be eliminated. See, there are certain terms that are used. Activities are unnecessary. they are in the wrong order, they are in the wrong swim. Activities that are missing should be there in place. Then activities take too long. So tackle those things with appropriate solutions about how to address those non-value added activities. Then we have also started with the concept of e-business. Under e-business, what's the strategic context of that? So how IT would be helpful in the business? So it opens up growth opportunities. It is competitive with its competitive environment and market position. It can help the business manage its activities. There are strategic choices that are easy to be adopted because of IT. At the time of implementation and performance review also, IT helps the organization. We've understood about what is e-business. The stages are, first they are only present on the web, then the trade starts on the web, then their activities are integrated with the e-commerce, the trade that happens on the net, and then finally their whole business can be on the electronic platform. Those are the stages. Of course, there are always risks associated with everything, so also with the IT. So there are IT related risks, deliberate contamination of data. Somebody intentionally can cause some damage to the data. Hacking some external intruder trying to intrude into the system to steal the data, cause damage to the data, destroy, delete or something, that is called as hacking. Viruses which can spoil the or cause damage to the software hardware, those are viruses that can be injected into the system. Accidental entries or errors, that is also a possibility. um, then inadequate security, not restricting those unintentional or unauthorized users. Maybe they are from the same organization, but they are not supposed to be having an access to the system. So restricting them, um, uh, restricting the access to them, and then take care of the proper security of the systems. So if there are not inadequate security issues, then that is a risk. And then there is always a damage risk present in terms of the hardware being failed. Okay, what are the different controls? We've done that in detail. There are general application software network, general how people um, are restricted, personal, then not allowing them to be there in the physical place, enter into the computer system, having an access to enter into the system. After they enter into the system, restricting them to have a access to the database, that is the data where it is stored, so that unintended uses do not cause damage to the database that is stored. Okay, the data that is stored in the database. Then there are physical controls, then how the assets are safeguarded. So if it is computer system, then in that case the proper temperature etc should be maintained. Then we see hardware security, and see anytime when they have to be replaced should be taken care of that. Then we have understood about say conventionally this was done once upon a time, where the the entire data that is stored would be stored in a remote location as well, because of in case if there is any kind of a physical damage that is caused to the place also, they still can have an access to the data. Therefore all the data from time to time, it depends how frequently they do from organization to organization, but the data is stored in a remote location so that they can still continue with their business activity in spite of the data getting damaged. So that is about the backup recovery plans and backups that are to be taken up. Then we also have the application controls. All the forms that are used should be pre-numbered so that it becomes easy for them to verify in future. If at all, if there is any need that arises, the form should be pre-numbered. Document authorization is only those that are the right users, intended users, which require these documents to use them in their business, are to be provided with the documents. So that is document authorization. Documents cannot be the way access is restricted to in terms of systems to all the people in the organization. So is the case with documents. Documents should be restricted, not provided to everybody in the organization. Okay. Only those that require these documents so that the work can be carried out smoothly should be provided with the documents. Then we see the next one is about control totals. As the data is inputted into the system, it will be considered as a batch of entries that are made. After the batch of entries that are made, so there would be a automatic check that is taken up, that is control totals. After that, we see that the output that is generated um, also is also taken care of it, something called as checking whether it is the appropriately generated output. There's some amount of checking of the outputs also is taken up. And then software and network controls. See, acquire the software only from reputable, reliable dealers. Okay, then retain the original disk that is purchased and check the licenses if there is any requirement to be renewed from time to time, checking the licenses. And network controls. Firewalls can be, it could be there both in the hardware, or it can be installed in the systems as a software. So firewalls do not allow the intruders to enter into the system, so there would be some control over that. And then we see that there is the sequence of activity should be logically presented in flow charting, so that they understand what is the work that has to be carried out, and can have a track of how things are taking place in the organization. Data encryption is only the right user, the intended user should be having the access to the output that is generated. So once the output that is generated, who can have an access is only those that are that have the security key with them only can access the output. Okay, I also gave you the example of WhatsApp. So WhatsApp also claims that the messages are delivered to the intended user, the person. So only that person, the sender and the receiver only will be able to have an access to the messages, no one else. So um, that is encryption. So here, those that are supposed to be having an access to the output will be provided with the security key. Of course, key also, there are different types of security keys. It could be a single key, or it could be for extra security. There could be double keys also, private key, public key, etc. Nevertheless, see, only those that have the security key, on providing the security key only, the output will become accessible to them. That is called as data encryption. Have virus protection. Virus protection in terms of have antivirus softwares that are used or built antivirus like things into the hardware, or softwares are to be injected or used or installed into the organization, in the systems of the organization, so that no virus will be able to cause any kind of a damage to the system. So that's virus protection. Then we have also started with um, using IT successfully. we have understood about supply chain management, the concept of supply chain management. Push system, pull system, we have understood. Okay, then what's the concept of e-procurement? When the suppliers are all present on the electronic platform, it becomes easy to choose the supplier so that time can be saved. So we've understood the benefits and the problems associated with e-procurement. After that, the impact of technology using successful downstream supply chain management. See, there are advantages like middlemen can be eliminated, continuous updations will be there, cheaper communication, user groups can be formed, better information, because people of late are depending too much on reviews before they take up any purchase. And then customers can start to customize their products. So because customers are now see, the suppliers or the manufacturers are accessible to the customers, they are willing to listen to the customers, so they take up the customization and provide the products and services according to their specifications. Then we've understood about big data. What are the attributes of big data? Why did the data become big? Is because the data is now being able to capture while it is being transmitted from one smart device to another smart device. So therefore, the number of smart devices across the world have multiplied greatly in the last few years. Therefore, the data also has become the access also has become very easy, and to transmit the data. So all that data that is captured is not I mean, it cannot be stored. So it has become so big in size that it is not possible to save all of them on the storage devices of the computers. Therefore, how to process that has become a big issue, because unless and until the data is processed, analyzed, interpreted, decisions cannot be taken. Therefore, we have the software of big data analysis. So with the help of big data analysis, the data, even though it is big in size, very big in size also, it still can be processed, analyzed, interpreted, so that the manufacturers or the suppliers are now being able to take better decisions with that data. There are attributes of big data. In fact, actually, there are four on the slide. It's only showing three. First one is volume, velocity, variety, and then veracity. The size is very big. The speed with which it is processed is also quite high. It is not just the static data, but it is the updated data that is considered and processed. Variety data comes in variety of forms, quantitative, qualitative, including any text message posted on the social media website also could become a data. Any audio, video, picture, image, interview, all of them could be part of data. So the data comes in the variety of forms. Then we see the veracity. The data, before it is considered for analysis, it has to be validated for its genuinity, veracity. We have understood about what are the different disruptive technologies. Disruption that is causing some changes to happen in the present way of operation, that is disruption. So with the help of, because of technology, there is disruption which is seen in the organizations. See some of the examples of disruptive technology where things are done in a newer manner. It can be found in financial sector, the banking sector, so we call them as fintech. Then cryptocurrencies using a parallel currency, digital currency to take up transactions online. Then blockchain, where the data that is shared by the users across the world is possible to be shared on a digital ledger. The security part of it is quite high. It cannot be altered because the data, all that is shared there, is protected with the security code. Okay, so these are the changes that have happened. Then there are benefits of disruptive technology. It's a better use of data, frictionless customer experience, more personalization of product services, lack of physical presence, then access to cheap capital to fund growth. I also have explained to you about cloud technology, because now the data size has become big. Where can it be stored? So because it's not possible to be stored on the storage devices of the organization. Now it has to be stored on the external storage facility. So there are servers which are present on the internet provided by external users. So on those servers, the data can be now stored. So it becomes cost effective method also, because as much space they are using, only to that extent the payment would be made. Okay. Sharing data, potential benefits are data sharing has become very easy, possible, because see, the best example we can relate to this particular thing is about um, the way during this lockdown period, how things have happened. Um, See, the organizations, though they were not calling their employees to be present in the physical locations of the organization, also still they were able to work and then carry out with their activities. Okay. Because all of them were connected to the database that is stored on the cloud. So data sharing has become possible. Multiple collaborators can get connected at the same time. And then processing also can happen on the same at the same time. So it has become more competitive in sense of it, that it need not be, I mean, the data that is stored, only to that extent the the charges have to be paid. They need not invest huge amounts into the equipment, the storage devices, so it becomes more competitive, easier scaling. Anything if they want to use more space, it becomes easier for them to take it up. Reduced maintenance, because the maintenance will be taken up by the external service providers, so though they need not be worried about that. Backups and disaster recovery, because the data protection is taken care of it. So um, separate backups are not needed, these are already present there on that. So the protection also, the security part of it also will be taken utmost care by the service provider. um, but then of course when we talk about limitations, disadvantages, we can also quote that to be as, because ultimately he's an external person, so the confidentiality, the security part of it is also always a big question mark there, which has to be looked into. We've started with what's the concept of artificial intelligence, but we did not complete this thoroughly. Artificial intelligence, see, it is an effort put in to make the machines think and react like the human, work and react like human beings. So that's the concept of artificial intelligence. Under artificial intelligence, we learned about machine learning. So machine learning is again a subset of the of artificial intelligence, where effectively computer code is built to mimic how the human brain works. So it essentially uses probability based on past experience. It learns from the past experience and tries to apply those things in the future. So through data, events, and connections between events, then applies this learning to a given situation to give fact-driven, plausible outcomes. So that's machine learning. So tries to apply in such similar situations. If in future they arise, then it tries to implement those things. Okay. If the conclusion the computer reaches turns out to be incorrect, then if it is not applicable in that particular situation, it will be considered as a new learning, and then uh, approaches with another other way. See, turns out to be incorrect. This act to more experience and enhance its understanding further. So in future, the same mistake will not be repeated. That is machine learning. So there are four ways, four things, four different types of artificial intelligence. First one is machine learning. Second one is supervised learning. So let's continue from here, learn that in detail. Okay. After a very long break, we are meeting again. I hope you are still in touch with what is the content going on. The next concept is supervised learning. In this instance, an algorithm uses training data and feedback from humans to learn the relationship given inputs to given outputs. So there is an algorithm. There is an algorithm built, and it uses training data. So some kind of a training or set of instructions would be already pre-loaded into the system. So it's basically an algorithm. Algorithm has some set of instructions which are already built into the system. Okay, and feedback from humans to learn the relationship of given. So for this particular input, this should be the output. So they are all um, made into an algorithm, made into set of um, instructions. So the machine will now understand that if these are the inputs that are given, this should be the output that has to be generated. So that is supervised learning. For example, if the objective is to predict future house prices, the inputs might be time of the year and interest rates. So depending on that, if the interest rate changes, what will be the output? So we understand that for a set of inputs, see the combination of inputs, if they are used, what would be the output that could be generated? So set of inputs versus the output. So the combination will be looked into. This sort of approach can be used when the user knows how to classify the input data, the type of behavior, and they want to predict, and but the algorithm is needed to calculate it on new data. See, when the combination of inputs that are used, this is the possible outcome. So when they understand about their inputs and can predict the output, so that all is made into a set of instructions, and see, that's all under supervision. So the user also understands the nature of the input. Okay, then when that is loaded into the system in the form of an algorithm, so that it becomes simple. So a combination of inputs, when they are inputted, when the result of that combination of inputs, what would be the output when it is observed? So that is all known, but to be made as in a simple manner. See, multiple times if the combinations are to be tried out, then I think it can be converted into an algorithm loaded into the system. So for these inputs, what would be the output? So that is how it will be generated. The output would be generated. That's supervised learning. We also see that there is an unsupervised learning. With unsupervised learning, an algorithm interrogates input data without being given any explicit output variable. Under supervised, so for a set of inputs, what would be the output to be generated? So both of them are known, and then um, uh, for the combination of inputs, what would be the output that should be generated? That is all under supervision. But here in this case, it says that without being given any explicit output variable, it's just that it looks into the input data, interrogates the input data without having any explicit output variable. When an algorithm is constructed, that would be called as unsupervised learning. See, the what should be the outcome is not known, but the AI itself will try to interrogate into the input variables to come out with the solution as the output. For example, the input data might be customer demographic data, and the algorithm is then used to explore and identify patterns in that um, in that variable, the demographic factor. Based on that, so what should be the what is the trend, attributes, etc., the pattern, etc., will be understood. This can be used when there is no known classification of data and the user wants the algorithm to find patterns. So the output is not there. So the combination of inputs versus output is not there, but trying to identify what would be the output because of a system, because of a set of inputs is an effort to find out what would be the output. So the algorithm is constructed in such a way that uh, the the AI itself will interrogate the input variables and then comes out with the output. Okay, try understands about the pattern of the data, the trend, structure, pattern, if there is any kind of a relationship that exists between the variables, etc. So all those things, how are they associated? How are they related? All those things, see, there is no set of output, explicit output variable is not there, but the AI itself will try to interrogate the input variables and then comes out with what is the output in terms of the data, the pattern of the data, attributes of the data, and the trend of the data, the variables within the data, how they are correlated, connected, associated, all that. So it will, the user wants the algorithm to find patterns and classify the data for them. That's called as unsupervised learning. Then we have it as reinforcement learning. That's the fourth one. So what's reinforcement learning? This is when an algorithm learns to perform a task. So it learns to perform a task by trying to maximize the rewards it receives for the actions it takes. See, for example, in managing an investment fund, the rewards would be gains in value of the fund based on which investment it has decided to put capital into. So it talks about when can there be a reward, what is the combination of uh, or what is the decision that is taken. So based on the decision that is taken, how can they be benefited? So it talks about that. So it gives suggestions to the users to use a particular thing. So um, a, a, a course of action, if it is taken, how can they be benefited because of that is suggested by the AI. The common thing what we can observe is, see, when we are playing games on online, see, on the mobile phone or on the computers, sometimes the game comes out with a suggestion about what should be the next best course of action that has to be taken, so that the user can be benefited out of that. How does the computer know that? How does the machine knows about what is the best course of action? Because the algorithm is built in such a way that it is able to, it's capable enough to give suggestions to the users so that the user would be benefited out of those suggestions. Okay, reinforcement learning can be used when there isn't a lot of training data available, the ideal end state cannot be clearly defined, or the only way to learn about the environment is to interact with it. Okay, that is reinforcement learning. See, very common example what we come across in day-to-day life. See, the minute you start trying to search for something, see, when you say what is the, then it comes out with so many suggestions. What is the, then you say what is the formula, then all everything related to formula it comes out, formula of, then maybe you write s, so everything wherever term with s is there, it comes out with a suggestion. How does it understand that you are trying to look for something? Why does it come out with suggestions something halfway through only, even before you type your query in full sentence form or a question form also, it comes out with some suitable suggestions? How does it understand? See, from the past experience, it stores all those experiences of what is that people do search for, the common ones, most commonly used ones. So it comes out with suggestions. It suggests you to look into in certain places. Okay, while playing games, games keep suggesting that you should be taking up this thing. How does it give you? How does it understand what's the best possible course of action? See, either it is reinforced, either it is supervised learning, or the algorithm itself is in such a way that it understands what's the next thing, what's the next course of action, what's the pattern, all that thing. See, the machines are now built into such a way that it is now able to react like human beings. So though it is completely not 100% able to do act like human beings, or it is not completely able to mimic the human brain, but there is a lot of effort that is put into the machines to make them react like human beings, okay, take decisions like human beings. Some of them could be about see the past experiences, just remember those past experiences and come out with certain suggestions for future situations, could be that. Or it can just generally understand the data, the trend of the data, nature of the data is considered, etc. Or it can come out with certain suggestions to the users how they could be benefited. These are all different forms of artificial intelligence. Simple thing is machines that are made to react, mimic like the human brain and react like the human brain is the concept of artificial intelligence. It is man-made. Then again, I strongly believe that no matter how much we talk about this also, the creator of this artificial intelligence is also man, and it's the human brain which has made it possible. So definitely the creator, the human brain who has created that, always will be far superior than the machines. But it is a now an effort made where to simplify things, they are simplified in the form of in the way in which machines are now able to react and take decisions like human beings. So that's the concept of artificial intelligence. Then we have artificial intelligence and finance. See, increasingly, we are seeing systems that are producing outputs that far exceed the accuracy and consistency of those produced by human beings. Okay, the concept of using machines or automation, the concept of using multiple elements of technology is that efficiency is far superior than when the work is carried out by the human beings. So because of, it could be because of the speed, it could be because of the long hours wherein the machines can be put to use, because the machines do not feel tiredness or fatigue, or breakdowns or breaks are not required by machines. So therefore we see that the work that is done is much much better of more efficient than if it were to be done by the human being. Then because they work on a set of instructions, okay, so we can see that there is consistency, but human beings lack that consistency. See, there are so many changes, there are mood swings, there are seasons where they do not feel motivated to do the work, okay. So multiple issues, there is boredom in human beings, they do not feel like doing the work. So on that note, we see that consistency would be lacking when the work is done by human beings. They see human errors are always possible. There could be mistakes, there could be errors happening. So accuracy is again uh, not 100% reliable, but machines work based on the set of instructions, algorithms. So there is no possibility that they can get affected by their mood swings or boredom or anything. So they continue to perform the work in the same manner. Therefore, there is accuracy and consistency that can be seen. In the short to medium term, AI brings many opportunities for finance professionals to improve their efficiency, provide more insight, and deliver more value to the businesses. See, the point here is because much of the work can be carried out by machines, so human resources or human beings that are there in the organization, they would have a lot of their time available to focus on other areas. Maybe they can think about diversification, growth, etc. So the areas where machines cannot replace human beings, they should be putting their focus on those areas to improve their efficiency, go for diversification, take up new tasks, etc. That all is possible. In the longer term, AI brings opportunities for much more radical change as systems increasingly carry out decision making tasks currently done by human beings. So, the future, we have not yet reached there, where there are anticipations that machines may overtake the human beings also. So we have not yet reached that. I mean, day sounds scary also. On another hand, that machines overtaking human beings, etc. But then we see that machines are developed in such a way that they are now being able to work or react on par with the human work. See, their regular repetitive work is definitely superior, but areas where decision making is required, there in those areas, we still see the role of the human beings only much more than the machines. So, therefore, such situation has not come where they can be considered on par with the human beings, but there are efforts put into this thing where there is increasingly radical changes are brought about as systems increasingly carry out decision making tasks currently done by humans. Okay, that is where you have to look at that as a threat to your employment opportunities. So future is not so simple that you can enter into the organization at any level and then later on grow about it. See, the opportunities to enter into the organizations at ordinary levels has become very difficult because much of that work is now assigned to the machines. So therefore you have to have those unique skills, those skills where you are able to take decisions, you're capable enough, you're skilled enough to take decisions so that you can find a place for yourself in the organization. So that is see, on the brighter side, the work has become much easier, simpler, because machines can take over the work and then do it much better. That is the opportunity part of it. For an individual, for the younger lot, for you, you should be worried that where can you find a place in the organization, because if machines are overtaking the entire work, where can you find a place for yourself unless and until you have those special skills where with those things you can identify yourself, distinguish yourself from the others. uh, it is a threat present to you because of technology. Take it up very seriously and then focus on finishing your professional programs, acquire additional skills, and then carry it out. Okay. The next thing is about IoT, Internet of Things. Are you aware of what is the concept of IoT, Internet of Things? Do I get a response? I don't know. What's IoT? So it says that, see, now that um, many smart devices are there which are all the time connected to the internet. Okay, so it talks about the network of smart devices with internet connectivity, of course, and there is a built-in software and connectivity to the internet, allowing them to constantly monitor and exchange data. Now, with the help of the smart device, there is a built-in software. They are connected to the internet. The devices are connected to the internet. Therefore, constantly things can be monitored and exchange data and control them remotely. Okay, what devices are connected to the Internet of Things? See, we can see that essentially anything with an on-off switch can become a smart device and be connected over the internet. So then if they are connected to the internet, and then we can call that to be a smart device, a mobile phone, a cell phone. See, because they are now able to be connected to the internet, a laptop, anything, any kind of a remote control um, device also, because the operations can be taken up through the internet. Okay, the software that is built and the set of instructions, if they can be given on the smart device. Okay, once again. Okay. Um, Anything with an on-off switch can become a smart device and be connected over the internet. This allows them to talk to us, application and applications. This allows them to talk to us, applications and each other, which is at the core of their functionality. Some of the examples what we can see, we can find it here. The growth of the Internet of Things, often termed smart technology, is fueled by improvements in broadband connectivity and the development of 5G communication networks. People are increasingly comfortable with the idea of operations of this smart technology. It is therefore anticipated that Internet of Things will continue to grow. See, any examples like, see, the devices can be set out and then um, they can be operated from a remote location also. See, security security equipment that is installed can be remotely operated from some other location also, because they are all now connected to the internet. So through internet, see, things can be operated even being at a far off location. So those all count under examples of IoT. Okay. It is therefore anticipated that Internet of Things will continue to grow, becoming increasingly central to how we live and work, as new and innovative applications for the technology emerge all the time. Simple terms, what we can understand is, see, it any smart device with a built-in software and connected to the internet can be remotely operated. So for better security, we call that to be as IoT. Okay, anything from a remote location, if we can still operate certain things or give set of instructions and operate, then we can call that to be as IoT, Internet of Things. Next, we see mobile technologies. Code division multiple access, CDMA. See, the concept of mobile technology is taken care by CDMA, code division multiple access. See, this technology, the technology that underpins mobile technology, okay, it has developed rapidly over the last decade and increased the capability of mobile technology. You also must have experienced now of late people are even able to travel to places without their wallet, but not without their not without their mobile. So it has become so important in one's life that, see, any transaction that has to be taken up also is now possible to be taken up with the mobile phone. So the mobile technology has become so prominent that it has become so important in day-to-day life. Okay, the rapid development in the capability of mobile technology. So you also have seen that, see, any payment can be made through mobile phone. So I mean, the mobile technology has um, I mean has become so advanced that now multiple devices are not needed, multiple things are not needed. See, the entire table, the desktop is now taken over by the mobile. Anything, a diary is there, a calculator is there. So you can make notes in that, you can have a recording in that. Okay, the camera is now available in the phone. See, you can be connected on the connectivity is there. You can be connected with anyone anywhere across the world. Anything can be shared through mobile. Any kind of a task can be done. Financial transactions also can be done with the help of mobile. So that is the rapid development in the mobile technology. The rapid development in the capability of mobile technology has emerged at the same time as huge advances in internet technology, and together the two technologies have become perfect partners. People, whether, I mean, the first thing what they look into is off late has become the mobile phone. As soon as they wake up, they look at mobile phone. All through the day, they're connected to the mobile phone. They are just not able to separate themselves from the mobile. So mobile technology has become it's like almost like um, a partner in their life. So the technology, the mobile technology has so well developed of late. All aspects of modern life are impacted by mobile technology, with major industries being completely transformed. See, we also have to now understand about the ethical aspects of uh, the usage of technology. So wherever we talk about data, wherever we talk about technology, so there should be some regulations related to that also. The ethical aspects of it also is very important. So ethics of technology usage. What are the legal considerations? See, the amount of personal data available to and used by organizations means that the privacy, sensitivity, and security of this data are very significant considerations in modern business. We also see that of late there are certain social media, um, the sites that are there on the social platforms. The owners of that the you are also facing some legal issues because of not maintaining the confidentiality, the security of the data. It is vulnerable that to the extent that the data that is available is now being able to captured by others. See, the protection was not taken care of it, so it um, the questions arise about where is the privacy of an individual or the organizations, and then the security part of it. So those things have become a big issue to be handled off late. So the amount of personal data that is available and the extent to which this personal data is used. See, there are ethical breaches. There are breaches in terms of the use of data. That's why we see that so much of fraud over the internet is happening, because things are shared with unintended users. They are using this private data, the data that of the individuals or the organizations. So that is a big question mark about. That's the ethical issue about to what extent this should be used, the technology usage, and how do we connect that with the ethical aspects of it. A business must ensure it is compliant with all legislation, but there are also considerations from an ethical and social responsibility point of view in terms of what is right and wrong in the eyes of the public. So that is the big debate that is going on now. What measures should be taken up, and what are the failures and how it can be rectified. See, if the data is sensitive, it cannot be shared with others. So it should not be um, um, it the technology that they are using also should not be so vulnerable that anybody is now able to capture anything, and then how it is being used is again a question mark. So the ethical aspects of it always arise. Okay, so the ethics of technology usage. Then whenever we talk about the usage of data, then this is regulated by GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation. Now, this was introduced throughout the economic European Union in 2018. Then we see it is legislation which details the following principles about how the data is used. So the data should be used fairly, lawfully, and transparently. It should be used only for specified explicit purposes. The intended use only a specific purpose which is mentioned, it has to be used. It the same data cannot be used in other things, and which cannot be shared with others. See, whatever is the purpose for which the data is captured and acquired, only for that purpose this data has to be used, in but no other purpose. Okay, used in a way that is adequate, relevant, and limited to only what is necessary. Okay, it cannot be misused. There cannot be any breach in terms of usage of data. The purpose is specific, use it only. The purpose, the situation, to what extent it has to be used, only to that extent it has to be used. Okay. Then it should be accurate where required, kept up to date. See, when data is being used, it has to be verified, validated about its truthfulness, its genuinity. So understand that the data that is being used should be accurate, validated, verify whether it is a fact. Or see, off late, when multiple smart devices are connected to the data, when data is shared, see, across the social media platforms, when the data is shared, so we also understand that more than half of it is all fake data that is being circulated. So find out whether it is accurate or not. So first verify that the data and its accuracy, and where required. See, sometimes data on certain platforms which is available is not updated. It is outdated. So wherever it is required that they have to update, that measures have to be taken up to update the data. So that is also a responsibility to update the data, not use the outdated data. See, if it is outdated, then also measures should be taken to delete that data, purging, what we call it as. See, data has to be purged. If it is outdated, it is of no use to anybody. So then what, there's no point to be kept or stored in the databases or anywhere. See, it has to be deleted. Data purging has to happen. See, maybe straight away it is not deleted, but like we put certain things into the mail, whenever we delete anything, it goes into a trash bin. It is there for some time, maybe 30 days or 1 month time, it is there. After that, it automatically gets deleted. So while deleting it, anything which is found to be as obsolete, straight away it cannot be permanently deleted, but it can be put in a folder for some time, and then later on from there it can be permanently deleted. If it is not relevant, if it is not useful to be used, then it need not be stored in the database. It can be, it should be deleted. It can be deleted. Uh, handled in a way that ensures appropriate security, including protection against unlawful or unauthorized processing, access, loss, destruction, or damage. Okay. Use it in a proper way so that there is uh, no misuse of the data. So appropriately it is being used. Stebino, Stebino, switch off your camera. You're not listening, it's okay. So you need not display the party that is going on at your place. Switch off the camera, it's so distracting. Okay, I will make a note of it, Stefano. After that, ethical and social considerations of technology usage. See, we see that the legal aspects of it. The amount of personal data available to and used by organizations means that privacy, sensitivity, and security of this data are very significant considerations in modern business. Okay. Um, it's very easy to have access to data, but that's where the ethical aspect comes into picture. And then if at all if they misuse that personal data, then what are the legal considerations that also have to be taken into account. A business must ensure that it is compliant with all legislation. They very strictly follow the rules and regulations in terms of how the data can be used, who should be using the data, what is the purpose with which they are using the data. So they have to comply with all the rules and regulations in terms of the data usage and protecting the data. Okay, so that all comes under data governance. Okay, it must ensure it is compliant with all legislation, but there are also considerations from an ethical and social responsibility point of view in terms of what is right and wrong in the eyes of the public. Then to discuss further about this particular topic, when considering the way in which an organization handles technology and data, the ethical and social considerations are important for the following reasons. So, a company that handles technology and data in an ethical way will give investors confidence. Customers also feel confident about the data security. See, anything which they share with the seller, if they are confident that it will not be misused, then they come forward and then they share their data. But if they are hesitant about that, if they are um, doubtful about the security, they would not come forward to share their details with the seller. See, customer confidence and data security is vital in the digital age and is an important element of brand confidence. That's how they can build their brand. See, they vouch, many sellers they vouch that the data that you share with us, we will not share it with others. And some of them do stand by those things. So um, that's how the brand can be built. Okay, consumers feel safer dealing with companies that are proactive and responsible in their usage, and so they should be taking up measures to ensure that the data that is shared by their clients is not misused. So take some additional efforts to save the data, protect the data. Then employees are attracted to companies that exhibit a strong ethical stance when it comes to how they use technology and data. So wherever the value system of the organization is considered to be as very good, the ethical culture is very good in the organization, high caliber employees get attracted to such organizations. For them, it is not the pay package that is attractive, but the culture in the organization is more important to them. The value system is more important. If the organization takes good care of protecting the data, see, then employees also do get attracted. They stay with such organizations. Okay. Then ethical handling of technology and data helps ensure long-term sustainability of an organization through stakeholder confidence and trust. Then it demonstrates a proactive awareness of the risk associated with data and technology. So See, it becomes it the culture is embedded into the organization's culture, that see, everybody understands that data protection is of utmost importance. So they every possible measure that is needed to be taken to protect the data will be taken up by the organization. So that is about the ethical and social considerations of technology usage. See, in with specific reference to protecting the data or the technology, see, like we have understood about how the organization feels the responsibility towards the society at large, wherein they do consider the benefit of the other beneficiaries apart from the shareholders. We refer that to be as corporate social responsibility. So, in connection to the usage of technology, if the organization feels the responsibility to use the data, the digitalization or the elements of technology appropriately, then we call that to be as corporate digital responsibility. See, it's a relatively new concept which extends the ideas and ethos of corporate social responsibility, but this is with reference to digitalization, to the digital world. CDR involves a commitment to protecting both customers and employees and ensuring that new technologies and data are both used productively and wisely. So there would be no misuse of any kind of data. So it protects the interests of both the customers as well as the employees. Because that concept is called as corporate digital responsibility. See, the corporate digital responsibility has 5 key areas. The CDR strategy is increasingly common in modern business, which include the following 5 key areas. Okay, what are they? First one is digital stewardship, then customer expectations, giving back, data value, digital inclusion. So the first one is, see, it is a responsibility which is taken up to serve the stakeholders. So stakeholders are in line with the customers and the employees. So it is a responsibility taken up to stewardship is to be able to serve them, to serve the um, customers in line with the customers and employees expectations. Um, of what is reasonable. Then we see meeting the customers' expectations. One second, just one second. Customers' expectations around data and use the need for transparency and increasing. See, the ability to opt in and be rewarded for sharing data empowers the consumers. So, meet the customers' expectations. See, they must have shared the data with some expectation that the privacy, the confidentiality part of it will be taken care of it. So, take all possible measures to meet the expectations of the customers. Then giving back. See, when they are benefited because of technology, the organizations, they also take up efforts to give it back to the society, giving back to multiple stakeholders. Giving back means that companies can share data in a benevolent way to help society. For example, a pharmaceutical company sharing clinical trial data with university researchers for no gain. Okay, so they are allowing other stakeholders also to be benefited because of what benefit they have derived with the use of technology, because of the data that was available, what they were, um, how they were benefited. for the benefit of the society at large, for different stakeholders. They also come forward to giving back. Okay, here this is an example of how the clinically tested data is shared with university researchers. um, as against that, they do not get any benefit out of that. Okay, see, if the technology is available, some of the organizations do come forward and then provide some benefit to the society. See, sometimes some of the organizations, they come forward and um, arrange some free coaching, free training, free services. Some of the organizations take up tax returns freely for some part of the some section of the society. So maybe because they were benefited, they have the technology. There is some benefit which they have derived. It's an effort to give it back to the society in some form or the other. Okay, some way allowing others also to be part of that journey, part of those benefits which they have derived. It's an attitude of giving it back to others, those that require. It is not at some additional cost, but it is without charging anything, without at no cost. When they are allowing others to be part of that journey, that is the giving back attitude. Okay. Data values become increasingly apparent to customers as well as businesses. So the need to reward and incentivize um, customers to give more data will become the norm. So adding value, because see, it is crucial. See, the data value is becoming increasingly apparent. See, as the data that is shared will fetch them more benefits. So the need to reward and incentivize customers to give more data. Now that should become the norm. Then digital inclusion. Digital inclusion is including those sections of the society that are considered as underprivileged. It's about ensuring all members of society to have the skills, tools, and ability to access the online digital world. Okay, sometimes certain services are provided free of cost to those that cannot have those kind of privileges. Inclusion talks about that, including those underprivileged sections of the society to get benefited because of certain facilities that are available. So now this is because of digitalization, digital inclusion. Um, all the members of society have the skills, tools, and ability to access the online digital world and are not left behind through lack of education or opportunity. Businesses need to be proactive and help support users and reduce um, barriers and obstacles. Okay, we see sometimes some companies come forward, they provide certain services. There are apps which provide information, some kind of help which is extended. See, some kind of courses that are conducted, some facilities that are provided, services taken up. See, that is because they do have the access to that, and then they also want to share those sections of the society which cannot afford to uh, put in or get benefit out of that. So that is the concept of digital inclusion. So there are five key areas of corporate digital responsibility. That is to be willing to serve um, other stakeholders with reference to the customers and employees, meet the customers' expectation in how this data would be used, then giving back, see, as they get benefit out of the data that was shared with them and how they were benefited, should also be willing to share it with others for some benefit of the society, giving back. Add data, add so the data value that would be added because of sharing the data by the customers should be made known to the customers and make it a norm that they should come forward in terms of sharing more data with them, and include those parts of the society which cannot afford to have an access to the digitalization, make them as a partners in this journey. So that's the concept of data or digital inclusion. Okay, now we go to the next chapter, e-marketing. But before that, we'll take a break for 5 minutes and then we join back and then we'll start with what's the concept of e-marketing. We've another 3 chapters remaining, 21, 22 project management, 23 sources of equity. Sorry, 4 chapters. Fourth one is about managing strategic change. Okay, let's go for a break for 5 minutes and then join back and then start with what is e-marketing. Okay, let's continue. Next chapter is e-marketing. The concept of e-marketing, we would be learning about what are the 70s, 6 I's, e-branding and customer relationship management. The first thing is about the marketing mix. There are 4 P's of marketing: product, price, promotion, and place. The product, um, about the product, we have these are the features which we see about the product, that is the brand name, packaging, how it's taken up, the features, options, quality, warranty, service, and style appeal. See, these are about the products. See, um, so what's the marketing mix? The way it is taken to the customers about attracting the customers, the strategies that are adopted would be with reference to the product, the price about what prices are charged, the levels, um, the different price levels that are charged, the discounts that are offered to the customers on different occasions, different terms and conditions, and then the payment after uh, the, the payment terms that are decided accordingly to that what prices are charged. See the pattern of payment depending on that what prices are charged and the delivery options which are included. So about the price, the promotion, how would they promote? Sales promotional, personal selling, publicity, advertising, and the place talks about the distribution channels, coverage, outlet or locations, sales territories, inventory levels, and inventory locations. So these are all. Um, I mean, you need to read through the study text. From the study text, see about the marketing. What are the 4 P's? Later on, how the 4 P's have become 7 P's. So it's not a very difficult one that you cannot understand in a very generic sense. The content would flow. So just because we will be able to relate it to um, the content that is given. So you should also be studying that from the study text about what do these 4 P's of the marketing mix mean actually. Then we see Then the marketing, when it has become e-marketing, the on the electronic platform, when the marketing has taken place, then that has added another 3 P's to the existing 4 P's, which we see that people or participants, then the processes, the way it is being processed, and the physical evidence about how things are taken up. The e-marketing involves extending the original 4 P's of the marketing: product, price, promotion, and place, to incorporate another 3 P's, which are people or participants, the processes in which the activities are carried on, and the physical evidence. The e-marketing, how it can be done. So e-marketing is done on own website. They have their website constructed, and information is passed on or shared with the customers, and then transactions also are taken up on the their own website. So that's the first way. Or you links to and from other websites. So um, they do not have their own website, but there is a link provided on others website through which the traffic will be routed to whatever is the activity that has to be taken up. So links to and from other websites is another way of marketing. They send emails to carefully selected customers. So that's one way of taking up marketing through mail. Send mails to the customers. The very specifically identified, only those that to whom they want to cater to with their products and services are contacted through emails. So that's the third way. Having a customer relationship management systems built in, that wherein in their system they would have the details about the customers, and therefore they can understand the customized expectations of the customers, cater to them, and then provide whatever services. So have a CRM system built into their system, wherein they can understand the customers better, because the customers share their details with them. So they understand their buying patterns, the trend, the frequency, the changes in their preferences, etc. All that can be understood, and therefore accordingly the customers can be catered to. That is customer relationship management. Loyalty cards, loyalty cards or would be about making them as repetitive customers, so regular customers to they can have these any example which you can quote about loyalty cards, any one of you? Any one of you about any loyalty card? See, for the regular customers, there are certain features. Loyal customers, there are certain features, some benefits that are provided. So, see, right now, though, there is sale going on the electronic platforms. See, various. See, Amazon is offering, Flipkart is offering some sale thing. See, for example, now Amazon has opened the sale one day before um, the sale date to their loyal customers, for all the Prime members. See, on various um, uh, sale items. See, sometimes there are delivery charges that are charged to uh, other customers, but for the Prime customers there are no delivery charges. Of course, many products there are delivery charges are waived off, but wherever it is applicable also, in some cases those delivery charges are waived off for the Prime customers. So we see that, see, when there are regular customers, loyal customers, there are certain benefits provided to the customers. So loyalty cards, then high profile for search engines. So through having SEO, search engine optimization, so high profile for search engines. So see, whenever there is something searched on the internet, then seller understands, because they have this built into their system, to capture that which is being searched by the customers and then cater to them, um, by providing information about the products and services to um, the person who searches on the internet. So high profile for search engines. Okay, through that also, um, they take up marketing on the electronic platform, e-marketing. What are the benefits of e-marketing? The font looks to be a little smaller, so I'll just zoom it. The 6 E's, or the benefits of e-marketing. The font seems to be very small, therefore I'm just highlighting it. Okay. See, interactivity, intelligence, individualization, independence of location, industry structure, integration. See, when marketing happens on the electronic platform, see, there are certain benefits that can be derived. See, the benefits is about, see, irrespective of the location, irrespective of what type of industry, see, irrespective of what is being done, there are certain things that can be derived. One second, just a second. So let's start with this now. First, we see interactivity. So interactivity, it becomes, see, on the electronic platform, it is possible to interact with the customers. We also see that, see, it may not be humanly possible to interact all of them. Therefore, many of them have their bots, um, taking up, at least in the initial level of taking the customer's request. So there are bots which are placed in their sites, which can cater to the customers. Okay. See, it is about taking the customized requirements of the customers and accordingly catering to that. So there is an interactivity. There is, what is that? See, of late, whenever you enter into any website, there's someone immediately to say hello. So it may not be an actual human being present there, but it is a bot or a chat message which comes up saying that what is that you're looking at. Then whatever is the requirement of the customer, accordingly things can be catered to that. That is an interactivity. Okay. Interactivity, um, interacting with the customers to understand the mindset of the customers. Okay. Then after that we have the intelligence. See, intelligence, um, ability to understand, see, have that kind of an intelligence wherein understand the requirement of the customer and cater to the customer accordingly. So some amount of information, when it is gathered from them, what is that they are looking at, then understand what is, how they can be served and cater to them accordingly. So they may have this stored in their systems as data collected, and um, a similar scenario they already have in the database. See what uh, what tools can be used to attract them, how they can be convinced or attracted or cater to, that can be understood because they already have that data about past events and situations. So apply that thing in that in this particular situation, and address them accordingly. So that would be about the intelligence. Then comes, we have the individualization. So individualization, personalization, customization. See, not if things may not be too standardized, everybody is provided with the same product or service. Rather, take up whatever is the expectation of the customer in a customized manner, tailor made only to them, only to cater to that particular customer. So that is possible because capturing the data, gathering the data, interacting with the customers has become easy. Storing the data so that they can be catered to accordingly. That is all possible. So that's another benefit, individualization. Then we see integration. Integrating is see multiple activities which are integrated um, with the use of technology. See, the expectations can be collected from the customers and also cater to their expectations to the um, sometimes some of the bots, they say that maybe the representative or the executive is not immediately available, please leave your query here and then we'll get back to you as quickly as possible. So that also happens. So it is not just that it is one way of receiving them, also there is some kind of a response also given the other way around because of the technology. So technology states that, say, some of the issues which are not solved. So suppose you raise a ticket against certain things in day-to-day life experiences also, we see that um, see, if you are not able to resolve a particular issue over a chat conversation, so that would be escalated to the next level, they cater to that and then they get back to you on that. So it is multiple directions, it's just not one direction that the customer or the customer or is addressing or putting in a request forward, but from the other way also they are able to equally serve them. So that would be about integrating multiple responses, bringing into picture the um, different ways of interacting with the customers so that things can be issued. So um, see, of late, from my experience, see, I was chatting on for some issue on Zoom. So it was going on. So initially, the bot received the request, then the executive got connected. See, it was not resolving. So then the chat was escalated into the mail. So it went into, because it was not on Zoom. Some issues were not getting resolved, so the entire chat was integrated into the system in such a way that the chat was put into the mail. So the security part of it had to be taken care at that point of time. So things happened that. So multiple aspects are integrated. It's just not a conversation. It's just not a chat, but bringing into different elements of technology. So later on, also when they had to take a feedback, they have also contacted. So different elements are integrated into that. So that is how e-marketing happens. So integration is possible. After integration, we see that it is industry structure. So if it is industry structure, we see that see, I mean, the way things happen in every particular industry, um, middlemen were there. So sometimes the middlemen were removed. Sometimes the middlemen were brought into the picture. So when things were happening online, there was no need for any middleman. So disintermediation, what we call it as, I did explain to you about disintermediation when we were talking about e-procurement. So middlemen, wherever it was, there was no need for them to eliminate that. That happened. Sometimes there was a need. See, when food business, now we see that there is an intermediary. It is not that the customers are directly approaching the hotels for delivery of food, or now we see that all groceries are also available. See, there is a partner. So Swiggy, Instamart acts as an intermediary to deliver the goods that are sold by the by the show by the stores, grocery stores, to the retail customers. So see, wherever it was needed for them to disintermediate, remove the middleman, sometimes there was a need to bring about um, intermediaries or middlemen into the picture. So that also happened depending on what is the type of industry structure. Then we see that the next one is about independence of location. So independence of location, we understand that, see, it is no longer particular about a particular location. Now it's a global market. Anywhere, anything can be ordered for and acquired for. See, things have become as it's one market. It is Amazon says that it is apni dukan. See, just like you approach a local dukan, local shop, so you approach that. See, it is not. It's not at all specific to a particular region. So anywhere, anything can be acquired. See, some of the, we also have, see, it's not just about the durable products, it's also short-lived life products also, like snacks also, which are available only in particular regions, also now can be acquired very quickly um, through this e-sources. So you place an order for specific sweets and snacks and available only in special shops in areas or locations. See, it has become, see, it is no longer restricted to particular location or local area, but it is independence of location. So now it is a global market wherein the sellers and the customers are all present there, and can get the benefit out of all of them. Those are the of six eyes or benefits of e-marketing. Okay. E-branding. What are the options that are available for e-branding? Match an existing brand, modify an existing brand, create a new brand, or form a partnership with an existing brand. So branding, distinguishing themselves from others. So e-branding happens on the electronic platform. They can also brand themselves because it becomes a comparative analysis there. Therefore, match with an existing brand, so because of you're there present there on the electronic platform. Modify an existing brand. Maybe some measures are taken up. Create a new brand. You can also have a, or become a partner with an existing brand. See, brand identity again is very important. There are different see, once you are present on the electronic platform, see, the customers are trying to purchase something, and similarly at that same time there is a comparative analysis also provided to the customers about who are the other sellers who are providing similar type of products. So it gives a comparative analysis to the customers. They can have an experience to compare them and then take a decision. So it becomes very I mean, important that they build the e-brand, if take up certain measures. So to modify their existing brand, maybe cater to some of the customers, I mean, to the customers with some of their products in such a way that the brand identity improves, modify that. Okay. stand in comparison with other brands. So match an existing brand, modify an existing brand, create a new brand, form a partnership with the existing brand. So join hands with others so that they can also share in the brand identity of another player in the market. Then we have customer relationship management, CRM. CRM, customer relationship management. They see in the customer life cycle, there are 4 stages. One is selection, acquisition, retention, and extension. See, at see, under customer relationship management, putting an effort to maintain a relationship with the customer. So it is very important, because see, only when they can have off late, see, the marketing is not about only selling the products, it is more about maintaining a relationship with the customer. So that is the realization in the present world. It is not about having the products sold to the customers, it is more about just not about selling the product, but to whom are they selling, and then have it put an effort to maintain a relationship with the customer. So that is about customer relationship management. See, understanding the requirement of the customers, customization, personalization, and catering to them. And also after the sale also, if there is a need that they have to provide some services to the customers, so they are ready to provide those services, because they do want to have a strong relationship built with the customers. That is all about customer relationship management. So first step is acquire the customers. So somehow reach out to them, acquire them, make them as their potential customers, okay, within the segment to become see in that particular segment of customers, um, reach out to them. So whichever customer segment, the other day also we've discussed about customer segments, about depending on the income levels, when they are grouped together, it will become a customer segment. So reach out to the customers in those specific segments, convince them, make them, sell to them. uh, First initially acquire them, make them as their customers. After making them their customers, okay, put in an effort that they become repeated customers. So that is how they retain the customers. Ensure that they see the trends has a very good strategy. So anytime when you purchase something, um, they give you some discount coupons, but those discount coupons cannot be availed in the same purchase. They can be utilized in the next purchase. So there is a stipulated time period also set by trends. So within that time period, when the customers go in again buy the custom products, on those bought products, the customer will be able to avail the discount. So it is an effort to bring them back to their stores during a particular period of time. And then there is a time stipulation also. See, if they come forward during the to purchase the products during those days, that time period, they can avail those discounts. So they are somehow brought into the loop of visiting them again and again. So that is one strategy which they are using. Multiple strategies are available with the sellers to attract them, to make them as their repeated customers. Okay, a first product purchased, maybe it is purchased at the same price. If they purchase the second one will give an additional discount. Some strategies are there to retain them, to make them as repeated customers. After they become the repeated customers, after that, then it is thought about as to how to cater to them with additional products. So that is again very important. See, they slowly start introducing the other products which are there in their um, product line. So the seller, if they are until then selling any particular um, product in that same brand, if they, or there are certain other products, other different varieties, slowly introducing them in other categories also under the same brand name. One second. One second. So slowly, extension talks about introducing other products to the customers, and extension, so extending them by introducing other products in their product line in their store, bringing them or making them as regular customers. So that is by way of um, having a relationship built with the customer. So first, select the customers, make them as acquire the customers. Now, IT can play a very important role in improving all aspects of CRM. Okay, so that's about customer relationship management. Okay, now we have the next chapter called as project management. This again is very important. See, um, the syllabus by now you have understood that. See, without a break, also without getting deviated anywhere from the content. If we are delivering also, it took so long for us to finish the content. See, this is just the context, conceptual knowledge, but the application is there in the case studies. So every aspect of it is very important. So the case study, pattern of questions that appear in the exam, SBL exam, will be application of the concepts, just not the simple, direct, straightforward question, but how do you apply this knowledge in the scenario? That is what has to be looked into. Okay, we have now three different topics that are remaining. One is project management. So this is not very much in detail about project management, but it is important that you understand about it. So first we look at what is the project life cycle. So project life cycle, how does the project start? First, the proposal has to be prepared. So the initiation, the proposal about what is the work that has to be taken up. An initiation or a proposal is prepared. After the proposal or the initiation that is taken up, plan accordingly. Take up the planning accordingly. Um, Whatever is required, whatever has to be taken up, so that the project can be taken up, and then it can be effectively implemented. All that is required has to be planned. Once the plan is prepared, implement that. Execution has to happen. See, whenever anything is planned for, planning and control, they go hand in hand. So wherever planning is there, control also would be there. So control talks about see, on implementation, when a plan is executed, so it would be monitored. So monitored in the sense that whether the execution is according to the plan that is taken up. Okay, so at that time, if it is found that there are some deviations, if it is not as per the plan, the implementation is not as per the plan, then measures are taken to control those deviations, and then finally ensure that the project is completed according to what was initially planned for, or proposed for, intended for. So project would be completed. So this is the stages. These are the stages in the project life cycle. See, that's nothing new about it. We all know about how planning and control happens. So also in case of a project, also first the proposal is prepared, then planning happens, implementation. If there are any deviations, control measures are taken, and then ultimately completing according to what was the initial proposal. Okay. So project plan, it has to start with a business case, which would typically include how do they plan, how do see strategic planning. Again, we go back to the initial day, initial class about how planning takes place. The initial strategic planning, what we have learned, we apply it anywhere. Plan is a plan. So the strategic analysis has to be taken up. The strategic plan is based on three different analysis. SWOT analysis, that is an internal analysis, external analysis, as well as the stakeholder analysis. So here, in case of project plan, understand their strengths, weaknesses, what opportunities and threats are present for them in the external environment. What are the limitations, the constraints that they have, which will not allow the project to be taken up smoothly. Take up the look at the key constraints. Any risks that are present there, any risk which is involved in this project, analyze that. Look at the cost benefit analysis. For the amount of investment that goes into a project, what is the benefit that could be realized out of that? So take up a cost benefit analysis, and then take up the project appraisal. Okay, look at the project take up the appraisal of that particular project. So this is understand, see what goes into the project, what is required of the required from the project, that it can be effectively implemented. Project appraisal. So the different analysis or things that are considered in terms of project plan. A SWOT analysis, understand the limitations, constraints, understand what's the amount of risk that is present, take up a cost benefit analysis, and then appraise that, analyze the project altogether about how what would go into the project appraisal. Okay. Take up the project risk management. See, risk management is a process which analyzes what can affect the business, what would be the impact of that, and what measures should be taken to minimize the impact of the uh, risk that is present. So that is the process which we see project that is in general risk management. So in terms of project also, the project risk management has to be taken up. The risk management comprises of assessment of risk, understand what is the amount of risk that is present, okay, identifying and analyzing risk. So we did learn about how to calculate the risk. Risk would be calculated as to the impact of the happening of event uh, multiplied into the likelihood of the probability of happening of the event, and then we calculate what is the amount of risk assessment, and then take up the risk control measures. So it talks about the strategies that are adopted in terms of managing the risk. Take all possible measures to reduce the risk. Okay, provide contingency and monitor improvement. So anything which has to be taken up. So different strategies that are there to be taken up to control the risk control, taking steps to reduce risk, provide contingency and monitor improvements. We did learn about the STARA framework: transfer, accept, reduce, avoid based on the impact it has and the likelihood. We did learn about this one earlier also as part of risk management. See, what are the benefits of project benefits? There are many types of benefits. There are strategic benefits, having a plan in place and then getting benefit out of that, productivity gains, management benefits. Then, while implementing the project, see the operational benefits, functional and support benefits, intangible benefits, and emergent benefits. So, we have a big list of benefits that can be derived. See, by taking up a project and implementing the project, see, there are multiple benefits that can be derived. See, the very basic thing that they have taken up a project, implemented the project, is to achieve some objective. So that can be achieved when projects are taken up. So by managing the project, the benefits that can be derived. So we are looking at we are looking at that part of it. See what benefits can be derived out of that. Then benefits can be scaled as follows: benefits that are observable, measurable, quantifiable, and financial. See, the benefits that can be scaled are as follows. First thing is we see that which can be observed, which can be noted down. Okay, so those that can be seen. Okay, observable benefits. Then we see that some of them are measurable. Benefits can be measurable, or benefits can also be intangible. Sometimes when they are not quantifiable sometimes. So we call them as observable benefits. One second, one second. See, we understand that they are intangible or tangible, measurable. Sometimes the benefit that is derived is um, expressed in financial figures, quantifiable benefits or financial that can be converted into financial benefit. So after so when the project plans are prepared, benefits that can be derived. After that, we see that in detailed plans also have to be prepared for the project to be implemented. So project plan, we see first look at what are the resources that are available so that it can be effectively implemented. Resources, have a schedule, detailed schedule prepared so as to connected, the tasks have to be connected to specific dates. So prepare those detailed plans, have the schedules that are prepared, required to be prepared, detailed schedules, decide on what are the targets and then how the measurement about how the targets are implemented. Whenever there is a plan that is prepared, that has to be effectively communicated. I'm so sorry about all the disturbance. That is something is happening at home, so I had to put it on hold. Multiple times I've done that. I'm really sorry about that. Um, so managing and leading projects. So there are key personnel, project sponsor and project manager are the key personnel which they look into the work. Often use a matrix structure, then should have regular gateways, need appropriate performance measures at gateways to identify if there are any threats. That is, from time to time, there should be a review also happening as to how the project is being implemented. So that's again another important thing. So key personnel, project sponsor and the project manager are they would be looking into how the project is implemented. They often use a matrix structure. Then they should have reviews at regular intervals, and then any kind of feedback has to be taken or identify that there are threats should be done. Then we see the control measures that are to be taken up. See, whenever there is a plan that has to be implemented, we also have to see the control measures. See, consider having a fast tracking or crashing, providing extra resources, change scope or constraints, motivating staff and abandonment if it is not appropriate. See, different types of control measures that are to be taken up. So that has to be looked into. Fast tracking, any time which has to be taken up at a fast pace, or any kind of resources that are to be provided. Look at what are the constraints, and then motivate the staff and abandonment at the time when it is completed or not required any longer. Then it has to be abandoned. The completion, project completion, what are the different types of reviews? See, we don't have any kind of a plan graphically to be prepared, but theoretically, what's the concept about what is post project review, post implementation review? That has to be taken up during the project, that has to be implemented at the time of plans that are to be prepared. See, there are graphical presentations about different types of charts, and then presentations graphically. Those things also are part of project management, but luckily for our syllabus, it's only the conceptual knowledge about what is project, how project has to be implemented, etc. We don't have to look into any other thing. So in a generic sense only we study. So it is nothing difficult at any given point of time about anything about project management. See, once the project is completed, it is just not sufficient that the work is completed, but later on also after the work is completed, then um, take up a review as to what was initially planned and what actually happened. So post project review is also important. After that, see, it is important with every task that is taken up. Once the task is completed, it is not sufficient that it is looked into as to how it is completed, but it also has to be looked into as to whether they were able to achieve what initially it was intended to. So that kind of a review also should be taken up. Post project review and post implementation review. Okay, very basic. Technically speaking, there's nothing new that you have to learn during that particular conceptual, basic concept about project management. Then comes the next chapter, which is about financial decision making. See, the financial decision making, funding, and cost accounting. See, we see that there are two different types of sources of capital that are to be raised. One is from internal source, okay, and the external source. From external source, we see that capital is pooled in from the shareholders. Broadly speaking, there are two sources of capital. One is from the external investors who are the debt holders. Then we see that another source is from the shareholders. So capital is pooled up, the amount is invested into the projects or investments, and then profits are earned. So to the debt holders, there is an obligation to pay the interest amount. So that obligation is met, and the balance of the profits that are available to the equity holders. Again, under equity holders also we have two different types of equity holders. One is preferred equity shareholders, and then ordinary equity shareholders. Preferred equity shareholders also, when profits are available, there is a fixed percentage that is paid to them. Balance of it is available to the ordinary equity shareholders. Decisions can be taken to retain a part of the profit not to be distributed to the ordinary equity shareholders, and only that amount that has to be only that amount that has to be paid will be paid. Balance of it technically it belongs to the ordinary equity shareholders, but for the moment it is not distributed. Temporarily it is not distributed. It is retained and reinvested so that it can be taken, used for taking up new projects. So that's the concept of retained earnings. They need not look at outside sources to use those funds. It's internally available. Just by not distributing, they have funds available called as retained cash. Then we see that from working capital, because of investing into current assets. So when investment into current assets is made, current assets, when they get converted into cash, that cash is available to meet their obligations. So that is internally arranging for the funds to meet for payment for various things. Externally, until then they've already raised funds from debt holders and equity holders. So that's the initial attraction of initial gathering of capital. But eventually later on also, when they require follow up, also when they require some more capital, they can give they can issue shares to completely new shareholders or to the existing shareholders. So existing shareholders, we call them as rights issue. Or give issue the shares to new shareholders, new investors in the market. So that would be new share issue. Okay. Mm, Initially is IPO, later on is FPO. So that is how funds can be raised, that can be used in the business. Then there are sources of debt, as I was explaining to you. There is one major source from which the funds are invested. The funds are raised from debt holders. These are not owners. Okay, so there are external investors who contribute their capital to the business, which we call it as debt capital. So debt capital, debt can be raised. See, they are not owners. They do not have any kind of a claim on the profits that are earned other than their interest amount. So there is a claim only to the extent of interest amount. See, all whatever is their obligation, to that extent the obligation would be met. But more over and above that obligation, nothing is uh, paid. So that debt is of three different types. One is long term, then the medium term, and the short term. See, under long term, long term debt can be in the form of debentures or mortgages. So, debentures calling in capital amount from the external investors by issuing them debentures. Debentures are a broader term, what we call them is bonds by issuing them. So, then funds are raised for a stipulated period of time. As against that, there is a fixed obligation periodically which has to be met. Either it is annually, semi-annually, or whatever is the term period which they decide. Then or another type of it is we have it as mortgages. So as against the asset as a security which is used, funds can be raised. So those are mortgages. For a medium term period, without acquiring the asset can be still used by taking it on lease basis. Okay, so that is a facility that can be enjoyed leasing. So the assets can be used, and then leasing facility, because of that also some funds can be enjoyed. Then we have taking up the loans from the bank. Bank loans is another opportunity that is available for medium term. Then we see the short term. See, in the short run, see the facilities that are available is the banks also allow them to overdraft more than what is available in the bank balance. So overdrafts is one facility. The other facility is about the payables. Payables is availing the credit facility that is extended by the suppliers. When the suppliers allow them to purchase the material on credit basis. So most of the short-term credit, a major source of short-term credit is trade payables. So these are the different sources of funds that can be availed, or benefits. The benefits in terms of raising funds can be availed from external users, external investors. See, they are not part of the organization, or they are not the owners. Okay. We will take it up in tomorrow's class, the balance of it. It's about what has to be considered when funds are raised. Then we will be looking into, see, these are all already done in part of PM. We have learned about the cost accounting techniques like break-even analysis, decision making, dealing with risk, budgeting, variance analysis. All of that was actually done in PM. So technically, we don't have to learn those things freshly now. We will take it up, okay, in tomorrow's class. And the last topic is about the change management. See how the change has an impact on the organization. Whenever changes, when we discussed about right from the beginning, there were many things, see, on account of technology, digitalization, on account of new techniques that are to be used. See, when they are to be implemented in an organization, there is resistance which comes up. See, how do we manage this resistance that comes up as part of change management is what we will have to look into. It hardly takes half an hour, 30 minutes of time to finish that. So the balance of the time, I will take up any queries that you have. We can look into that. Anything which you want me to repeat also can be done. And then I will do a case study in tomorrow's class, which would be the last class for the session. Okay. Any doubts? Somebody wants to enter the classroom right at this point of time. I don't know why. Anything from your end? Okay then. If there is anything, I will take it up in tomorrow's class. Let's wind up the session here. Okay. Good day.